Yeah, my toes are so cold. Jesus. I need another cup of coffee. Okay, so let's go to episodes. Well, let's go to analytics. What is this? Why is this drafted? Testing, testing. This is just a test. I'm using my new headset today, so I just want to see what the quality sounds like. So, okay, so let's want the quality sounds real good. Let's see. But I want to delete this. Oh, okay. So let's put new title outro, new title intro, insert the ad, and let's start this first. Whatchamacallit. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Sway Positivity. I am your host, Valerie, and I am just bringing you guys a little update on, well, not an update, really, I'm just going to bring you a wrap up because today is the 26th. There's only, 4 more days of the month left. And I might as well just do a wrap up for this month's fit journey because, oh no. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Swayed by Positivity. I'm your host, Valerie. And if you are new to the podcast, I want to say welcome. This is a safe space, positive space. Today, I am not only recording for the podcast, but I'm also live on YouTube. So, hey, everybody. Um, but I also want to say to those who are returning, who have listened to the podcast before, I thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing and just offering your support. Your listenership is greatly appreciated. This would not be a successful podcast if it was not for you. For you. Um, I am today just going to give you some progress on my fit journey, and then I wanted to talk to you guys about mindfulness. So, because I have tried something involving mindfulness that has been incorporated into my fit journey. Happy Sunday, and let's just jump right on into it. Um, my fit journey for this month has been doing really good. I have like tried to teach myself not to necessarily hop on the scale every week. I get on the scale because I need to, what's the word for it? I need to like make sure I'm keeping tabs on my weight gain because of the congestive heart failure. So if I am seeing a weight increase of more than 5 pounds, it's evidence that I am retaining fluid in a negative way. And it either gives me direction on to maybe double up on my furosemide, my diuretic, or if it's just that's if it's more than what I usually see as far as weight fluid retention, then I need to contact my doctor because there may be something, something else going on that may need some calling attention to. So that's why I get on the scale Sunday and Wednesdays. But I also on Sundays I measure myself. So for those of you who may be tuning in or may actually watch the live after this. This is my measuring tape. I measure my neck. I measure my boobs. I measure my belly, my fupa. Well, really my fupa and my hips are kind of tied into each other, because that those are the same areas. When I wrap around my hips, I grab my fupa. So, and if people don't know what a fupa is, it's the lower part of your belly. Some people say they have two stomachs. I say I have two stomachs. But and then I measure my arms, my thighs, and my calves. So last measure session, I lost a total of, just in the different sections, I lost a total of 20 inches. um 4 of those inches came off of my belly, and I could tell because I've gotten to a point where I cannot wear my waist beads anymore. So give me just a second and I'll show you guys what my waist beads look like, because I had to take them off because it looked funny. When I went into the office last week, I was like looking at my shirt underneath my I was looking at the waist beads underneath my shirt, and it looked so funny. Like, yeah, so it looked really funny, and I didn't want people asking me like or wondering what the hell is going on. So I took them off because they're way too big now. So if you're listening on the podcast and you ever get a chance, hop on YouTube and you'll see how big how big they've become. So I can't really tell you, I can't really remember how long it's been since I've gotten these beads. I want to say 3 years. It could be 2 years. It was like right during, so yeah, 3 years. So this is what they look like. And this is how much I've had to take in since my fit journey. That's a lot. So whenever I have my clothes on, because I have them right now, I kind of took them in where they sit right under my breast, above my stomach, because I'm really just trying to like measure how far my stomach has gone down, because my arms and my legs, I have no issues. I really don't want to lose any more weight. Like I said before, I don't really want to lose any more weight in my legs or my boobs. I do want to tone up my arms, so I'm not really worried about losing weight in there, but mostly tone up my arms and lose the belly. So, yeah, this is my waist beads, and that is what I've had to take in so far. So, I'm I need to get some more. So I'll share with you guys. Maybe I'm thinking about maybe asking whomever if the beads can be just a little bit bigger. But they didn't cost me very much, so I'm not going to complain. The person that made them for me is someone I met on social media that I'm most likely gonna hit up again. But I wish I could. I do. Her name is Shamika Bell on Facebook. You can look her up on Facebook. She's also has become a fitness coach, and she has a channel on YouTube as well. Um, and I can't remember what the name of it is, but anywho, that's who made the waist beads, um, and that's kind of what's been my progress so far this month. So I'm really, really pleased. I'm very, very excited. Of course, I have the help of the Munjaro. Um, I'm not sure if I've spoken to you guys about being on Munjaro. I am now on 10 milligrams. Um, which has greatly helped curve. It hasn't curved my appetite. What it has done is help me manage portion control, because that's my problem with food. Not what I'm eating, but how much of it that I'm eating. I'm having an issue with being able to say, hey, you're full, set the fork down, walk away from your plate. That's what I'm having a problem with. I'm also having a problem with, and this is what the mindfulness is going to come in, is a lot of times I sit down to eat and I'm in front of the TV. And so, yeah, that is not working well for me. So I've tried to change things up a little bit. So this month I tried to incorporate mindfulness into um my eating habits. But before I get into that, let me just mention a few more things about the fit journey. I started a group on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, the name of the group is called Fit Don't Quit. And the reason why I created it was because I was in two other fitness groups. Well, I've been through a few fitness groups, to be honest, and they just weren't working for me. Well, why weren't they working for you, Valerie? Um, it was just mostly memes. I think that fitness in a group where you're joining a fitness group because you need motivation and support and education, and I was somewhat getting motivation from the memes, but I wasn't getting much support or education. So I decided, instead of being part of a group that's just nothing but freaking memes, that I would start one on my own. And so I have a few members. Well, it's like maybe 54 members. And that's okay. I'm not worried about the capacity of the group. I just want those who are involved, who are in the group, to become involved, engage. So at the end of the month, those who are not engaging, I'm going to remove, because you can't just be posted up on the sideline soaking in and not contributing. And you don't have to show your workouts. You don't even have to, you know, um talk about yourself. But if you're on TikTok and you see a cool, recipe video, or if you're scrolling social media and you see tips that you can, post to the group, it's engaging. You're offering information to someone else that could help someone else. I know someone has said, "Hey, I need recipes outside of just chicken," which is, a good, it's a good inquiry. And so, with so many people responded to that one person on different things they could eat, I looked up veggie dishes on Pinterest, um, different challenges, for those who may need some inspiration on not just doing the same monotonous workouts every day. Because a lot of times, if you're working out or trying to lose weight, sometimes if you're at a plateau, it could be because you need to switch up what your body's doing, right? And so when they're offering those little, videos or little tips, that helps. So this week we're starting a new challenge. We did a challenge on squats. I wasn't able to take part of that challenge because it was hard on my knees. And so I did a chair exercise that targeted the same areas that the squat challenge did. So I modified it, but still participated. And then we were able to offer that to other people who may not have been able to do the squats either, right? So we're starting a new challenge. I really don't want to start it today because I usually like if you're going to do a challenge, you're going to do it for 30 or 31 days. I would prefer to start it on the first day of the month. But, come Friday, I think Friday is the 31st, I'm also going to start a new self care. Well, no, I'm going to be ending my self care challenge, and I'm going to be starting a yoga challenge. So, for those people who are into yoga, I am just going to be challenging myself to do at least 10 to 20 minutes of yoga every day, because I've gotten away from it, and it was so beneficial for my lifestyle, because it's hard for me to work out, but yoga, baby, yoga don't play with you. Yoga will challenge your body to do certain things, right? But it's so good. It was good for my digestion. I did notice that once I started doing yoga, I didn't um I didn't have heartburn. Like, I used to really struggle with heartburn and acid reflux, but when I started doing yoga, let me tell you something. I couldn't tell you the last time I had heartburn, which is a good thing. I don't miss it. Um, so yeah, so that's what's going on in the my fit journey world. If you're interested, reach out to me. You can DM me on Facebook. I'm under Valerie Swayed by Positivity, or you can hit me through my Swayed by Positivity um page as well. So you can send me a message through either one. You can send me a message through Instagram. You can find me at Sway by Positivity as well. So that's just the gist of what's going on in my fit journey world. And I'm done with that, and I'll talk to you guys about what's going on with mindfulness, what it is, and how I'm incorporating it into my everyday life. So let's see what little transition sound I'm gonna use. Mm, mm, mm. I was playing some like background music, but I'm listening to free or copyright free or royalty free music, but um I'm not sure. if Anchor, I'm not sure if Anchor will allow me to use that. So I paused it. I just remembered. I'm not sure when it comes to podcasts, it's kind of iffy. I think that regardless of the music, if it's not yours and you haven't copyrighted it as yours, they still consider that copyrighted music, and so they don't let you use it. Or I just don't want to find myself on a restriction with Anchor because I'm very invested in that platform for my podcast. So yeah, I'm just not gonna risk it. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of go back to the segment I just recorded, and just make sure that the um I just want to make sure that the sound, the quality is good because I can't stand echoes. Sometimes it doesn't the platform, it may be like a little static or like it just like interference. Um, and if me being a podcaster that listens to other podcasts, that drives me bonkers. Echoes drive me bonkers, and I don't have one of those. One day I will. It's in on my list. The big microphones that you can set on your desk and just talk into, and it just makes it sound so smooth. One day I'm gonna get me one of those. But right now I just have to depend on this one, right? Okay, so the sound is pretty good. I'm okay with the sound. I actually should have went live on Facebook as well, but really wasn't thinking about it. And actually, I think I might do that. Just for the remainder of, I'm gonna set it on my desk. I hope you guys are having a great Sunday. If you're tuning in later after I've already recorded this, leave me some tips, leave me your feedback. I do take constructive criticism. It's how I grow, it's how I learn. You know, this stream is not for me, it's for you. And I would prefer it to be for your enjoyment, entertainment, therapy, if you find it therapeutic, what have you. What I'm doing now is kind of getting some of these pens out the way because I like to write with colored pens, um, especially when I'm writing to pen pals. Okay, so let's see about this. See about this going live on Facebook. Um, okay. Okay, I'm going live on Facebook too. All right. I have enough juice on my phone. So I guess I'll just have to look up and see if anybody joins as I'm doing this. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and add this segment to this episode. So what I do is I do have sponsored ads on my podcast. I mean, on my podcast because I do. It's monetized. Just in case you didn't know, if you're thinking about doing a podcast, I am on Anchor, which is Spotify for podcasters now. They changed it, so Spotify now owns Anchor. So every time I post a an episode on Anchor, it automatically goes to Spotify. Hi, Angel. Hey, girlfriend. Happy Sunday. I am live on YouTube. I'm doing my first live on YouTube while I'm recording a podcast for a episode for my podcast. So thank you for tuning in. If you want to spam the little hearts for me, or if you have any stars you want to send, great. If not, thank you for tuning in. Did you have to work today? Angela is my classmate. So for those of you watching YouTube, I do have one person on Facebook Live. But um, if you're ever thinking about doing a podcast, it's easy. I am on a desktop right now. Um, Thank you, girlfriend. Thank you. Well, I hope you enjoy your day off. Here in Houston, it's really sucky. It's raining. So yesterday was pleasant, but today is raining. I may go out on the patio later, but um what was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Oh, um I'm on my desktop, which is great because I can use this headset. But if I was using I started out using my phone and just like regular little earplugs or like earbuds, the quality of the sound wasn't as good as it is using this mic. Um, but Yeah, I've kind of graduated a bit. I like the quality using this type of headset. I went from using little regular earbuds to using um gamer headphones. I have found some gamer headphones online that were really cheap and they worked out really good. And at that time I had started working from home, so they were really good as well. And then I had some regular headsets from my job, and then they gave me some really nice ones. These are nice. They've got a cushiony kind of part that goes on your ears. Um, I don't know how I sound. Just I don't have anything plugged up to. I'm using my old iPhone for the live on Facebook, so I don't know how the quality sounds. I don't know if there's an echo or anything, but I do see the little speaker thing where you can hear me. Do you have any plans for today, Angel, or did you have any plans for today? I went to church. I went to Hope City. And then I came home and slapped my hair up into a ponytail, wrapped it. That's what I usually do. That's my thing. When I go to meditate, I like for my hair to be wrapped for some reason. or I shove it under a bonnet. But I like for my hair to be wrapped. I like for my pants, my baggy pants to be on, and just a loose t-shirt. That's my go-to. So I meditate like maybe 2 or 3 times out of the day. Um, Somebody else that came on, but they left. But so right now I'm just trying to kind of let me go back to the podcast. So it's kind of easy, you find a platform like Anchor, you set it up, you have your little, you know, uh where they call it thumbnail or, picture art, and then you decide what type of niche you're gonna, be, your podcast is gonna involve, and then you just go for it. You press record and you just start talking. And sometimes it may not be anything in particular. I started talking, um, well, I started using doing podcasts as a way to as a distraction because I was homeless at the time. I was homeless. I was in a boarding house. It was horrible. I was so disgusted and just so over being homeless. And so I started a podcast just to kind of talk about my health issues, what was going on with me. I really did some homework and cooking Sunday dinner. Oh yeah, that's good. What you cooking? What you cooking? And tell me what you're going to school for, because I've seen you say or mention homework a lot um in the class chat, but I never really asked you exactly what you were going to school for. And I have not even gotten 1,000 steps in yet, y'all. So after I get off of here, off of live, and finish with this podcast episode, I'm gonna have to get some cardio in because I'm usually 12 o'clock. I'm usually already at 2,000, maybe 3,000 steps, and I'll be trying to get 5,000 steps in early, so I wouldn't be having to do it all before I go to bed. But yeah, so I started doing the podcast because it just kind of was a distraction for me. I had somehow, I don't know if you guys know who the group In Vogue is, but one of their members, her name is Rona Bennett. She also played on the Jamie Foxx show, like some of the later seasons. Somehow she and I got connected on Instagram, and she has she's a life coach, similar to what I do. I'm a happiness certified happiness life coach, um, and certified meditation teacher. But she has a life coaching university called Personal Power University, and she gave me a free, I don't know what you call it. I became one of her students for free. And that was one of the things she suggested, was to find a project that is going to benefit or add value to everyday life. Do it, and it would be a good distraction. And I have the gift of gab, so I started a podcast. Ribs, cornbread, dressing, yams, mac and cheese. Girl, I could have the ribs. I could have the yams if they were done in the air fryer, but everything else I can't have. So, yeah, but sounds like somebody's going to enjoy it. I think what I'm going to end up having for lunch is some soup and an apple. Apples are good for blood pressure and diabetes. And then the soup, of course, has the veggies in it. So I usually do like um chicken pot pie or something like that, or chicken noodle. Um, but your major is administration assistant. Are you trying to get move up in the company that you're currently working for? Or are you trying to do something where you can contract yourself out to other businesses? I'm not sure. Administration assistant can be used for like as like in HR, right? Human resources. Hey, Teria. Welcome to the live. Yes. So fruits are high ish have they're a natural sugar. So if you want to have any incorporate any type of sugar into your diet, fruits are good. But yes, I didn't know apples were good for diabetes and blood pressure either. I just happened to look it up because I wanted to post something educational today in the Fit Don't Quit group. By the way, if you're, thinking about trying to foster a healthier lifestyle, or if you're on a fit journey, um, or lifestyle change, and you want to become part of another positive space, I have a group on Facebook also called Fit Don't Quit. And just I think I sent you an invite. I'm not sure. But I mean, just request to join. And, the only thing I ask is that you engage. You may not want to share anything about yourself, but you may find dishes that may be, healthy that you want to add to the group, or, maybe something educational. You may see a TikTok video that you think might add value to the group. I just don't want it to be a whole bunch of memes, because that was one of the reasons why I created the group, because I wanted to get away from the groups that I was already involved in, and that's all they did. I didn't get any type of value from it. Um, okay, I'll send it, because I want to say that I'm. Were you on a fit journey as well? But anyway, you always look fabulous. So, I did want to say that as well. I guess Teria wasn't interested in the live. Okay. But anyway, so yeah. So then I started working. I ended up moving in with my sister, my one of my youngest sisters, and I started working because Social Security denied me, because they said that um I had too much education, and my skill set as far as my work history, I could find something sedentary. So I said, you know what, fully on them. I probably should have filed, let my doctor file instead. But I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I like the job. I like my job. I would, and I am trying to find other sources of income, especially with the podcast, because it's monetized. But um so I ended up moving in with my sister, and I ended up going back to work at the company I was working for before I had to have open heart surgery. And then but the commute on the way home was so if you live in Houston, traffic is a right? So what I did is I started just, recording a podcast while I was in my car, and it started off being conversations in my car, or conversations from my car. Yeah, message me. I'm always, I pay attention to my messages on Facebook Messenger, or you can message me through Instagram too. So if you're tuning in, I'm on Instagram at Sway by Positivity as well. So give me a follow. I follow back. Um, but yeah, so I started, doing episodes from my car. I may go shopping, and I was talking to you from my car. I started talking about, um, TV shows or different stories, conspiracy theories, different things like that. So I still have that podcast as well. But then when I started like really focusing on trying to get out of, or reverse congestive heart failure somewhat, I started I started a podcast on that. It was a podcast about my fit journey and just a fitness podcast. But then I was like, you know what? People really don't want to hear about congestive heart failure all the time. And maybe they weren't interested in just my life in general. So I was like, you know, let me just do it on health and wellness altogether. And then I became a happiness life coach, and it was just so many other things that I could do or talk about. So I just changed it to a health and wellness podcast. So um now it was being Valerie a fitness journey, but now it's Swayed by Positivity. So if you're trying to find me on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I'm on Spreaker. I'm on iHeartRadio. The only place I'm not on as of right now is Pandora. Um, Maybe I'll be in the future, but since I don't have anyone like actively on either live, I'm gonna go ahead and continue recording for the podcast. So I'm just gonna try choose a transition between what I was talking to and what I'm gonna talk about next. Oh, no. Okay, so I like that one. I'm gonna add that one, and I'm gonna put it in between the, the segment I just recorded and the outro. All right, so let's start recording. Hi, God, I just lost my train of thought. I'm not talking about anything in general. I'm just recording a podcast episode, and I'm live on YouTube. And I decided to go live on here because I had never done it, never really thought about it until someone else had mentioned why not. How's your day going? How's the family? How's Big Theron, Little Theron? How's the two baby girls doing? I see you every now and then on my feed, but sometimes I don't see you guys at all. Oh, she's not there anymore. All right, let's keep on then. So let me delete this one. I used to like my feelings used to be hurt when people did that. But when I used to, one of the things I used to do when I was homeless is I used to do live streaming on Live Me. And that's one thing I learned that sometimes bots would come in, they would hop out. Sometimes when people would hop in, and if I didn't look a certain way or was pretty or cute or had my behind showing, they would hop out. So those that doesn't hurt my feelings anymore. It's like either you're there or you're not. So but if you're tuning in, say hey, let me know you're here. Let me know how your day is going. I'm not doing anything like spectacular. I'm just recording a podcast episode. So I have a podcast episode due today. So on the weekends I work on my podcast and I work on my blog. So I've already done the blog post. So I'm recording a podcast episode, and I decided to go live on both Facebook and YouTube. Um maybe somebody finds it interesting. If not, you know, Okay. But anyway, so that's what I'm doing, because both of them are due today, and then after that, I'm going to do my class for my second meditation teacher certification. So, that's the last segment I did. So let's start recording the second part. Okay, so I told you guys that I was going to talk about mindfulness, right? Tips on how to be mindful, the purpose of mindfulness, what it actually is. It's the practice of like purposely bringing your attention to the present moment, and experiencing that without evaluation. A lot of people do it when they meditate, and it just kind of, you focus on breathing methods, guided imagery, and just trying to relax your body and mind and relieve or alleviate stress. You could do it by noticing your breath, how you're breathing in, how you're breathing out, and just the overall flow of breathing. um you pay attention to all your senses. You notice the things that you're hearing in your environment where you're at, um, how your body feels. What are you feeling? You're at the moment feeling. Are you angry? Are you stressed? Are you tired? Are you happy? Excited? Are you anxious about something? Um, you can use mindfulness while you're eating. You can notice the texture and taste of your food, and that's one thing I started doing. I started like mindfulness eating, just paying attention to, you know how hot the food is, how spicy I made it, or I don't use how bland it is because I don't use salt. I do use like all seasoning, like Tony Cheshire. Sometimes I use garlic. If I know it's something that may make my blood pressure go up, I'll use garlic powder. Um, I drink. I often I'll heat water and add a tablespoon of ginger and a tablespoon of cinnamon to it, and I just kind of like notice how spicy the ginger tastes or how strong the cinnamon taste, how it opens up my nasal passage or um, relieves any type of congestion I may be feeling in my chest. Um, I pay attention to how the food feels. Is it soft? How soft is it? How does that softness make me feel? How does it feel to the taste buds? And that's how I stopped eating mushrooms. Like mushrooms have like a real nasty meaty taste. It is, yeah, it just makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't like chewing it. If it's on a pizza by mistake, I just swallow it whole. I noticed some people put them. I went to a crawfish boil recently, and they had big mushrooms in they put them in with the crawfish, the sausage, the shrimp, the potatoes, and they did Brussels sprouts also. Now the Brussels sprouts tasted good, but I did not fool with them. I couldn't. I don't care what kind of seasoning you put to it. I just couldn't do it. Um, but I like the taste. You know, just notice the taste of the meat, especially if it's prepared by someone else. Like, I do sometimes order Chinese food. This time I did broccoli and beef. Um, and I just noticed how tender some parts of the broccoli was, opposed to some of the other parts. Some were not so tender, but it still tasted good. It still tasted like broccoli. I still liked it. I still ate it. It was yummy. I enjoyed it. The meat, I noticed how tender it was. Some parts were more tender than the others. Some parts were a little fatty than the others, and I didn't eat those. I didn't even try to chew it. It was like if I'm struggling trying to chew it, it's gotta go. So I usually spit those parts out. But I took my time eating. I turned off the TV, because it affects how quickly or how slowly you eat. It affects how, because you don't pay attention. If you're looking at the TV, you're not paying attention to the amount of food you're eating, which can cause overeating. And that's what I have a problem with, portion control. So a lot of times, hey, Stacy, how you doing? Welcome to the live. Um, if you like, if you could share it. I'm doing a podcast episode, and I'm live on YouTube as well. And I'm just talking about mindfulness and how I incorporate it in my eating habits right now. But I have a podcast episode that's due today, and so I'm recording for it. Tell me how your day is going, how you came about joining the live, if you have any plans, and how your week was, your past week was. If you want to share that with me, you can. Um, let's see. But that's how I incorporate mindfulness into whenever I eat. Um, and I know turning off the TV helps keep me from overeating because I don't have that distraction. Um, Well, another way that you could practice mindfulness is by emptying your mind. I know sometimes it doesn't feel like you're emptying your mind. You're never completely empty your mind. Let me just put that. As a avid meditator, in my opinion, I don't care what anyone says, you're never going to completely still your mind or empty your mind. There's some pros out there that have done that, and it's on a whole nother level. They're experiencing a whole nother thing. I've not yet gotten there. But you could just try thinking about whatever it is that you've been thinking about and you need to think about it. Think about it and then let it go. Focus on your breathing. Um, just a few moments of just that stillness in your mind helps you refocus, reboot, so that you can go do what you need to do, as far as task or your job or your skill. If you're trying to go to sleep, or prepare yourself for something else. As soon as the mind wanders, bring it back to your brain, bring it back to your breathing, bring it back to what you're experiencing in the now. What sounds are you hearing? Is it cold? Is it warm? Are you comfortable? Do you feel rested? Do you feel overly stimulated? Do you still feel tension? Notice where the tension is. A lot of times when you do that, just a quick body scan can alleviate stress and relax you. Um, Practice non-judgmental listening, um, which is kind of funny because I just was on a call Friday night with my sisters. So I'm the oldest of three. It was my sisters and my mom. And we just, every now and then we have this session where we just put some ish out there, how we're feeling about how one treated the other and what have you. And I had, kind of a forced choice in practicing non-judgmental listening. And sometimes it can be hard, especially if you're in denial about something that you did, said, have been doing, or if something is brought to your attention, that could be shown in sort of a negative light. um it can be hard, and so I had the chance of doing it, and it I don't know how I feel about it. I'm still processing it, but it allowed the other person to feel better because they were doing the same thing, noticing things about themselves in the present moment. Um, be aware of every daily activity. Be aware of when you're driving, what you see, when you're texting, who you're texting, what you're texting, how you're texting it. When you're cleaning your house, notice, different things, different methods. You may have to change a way of doing something to effectively get something cleaned. Um, Hi Ingrid, thank you for joining. I'm just recording for a podcast. I'm doing a podcast episode. So if you want to share with me how your day's going, how your week is going, do you have any special plans for today? Feel free to share. Um but I'm talking about mindfulness, just giving some tips on how to practice mindfulness. You can go outdoors and walk around in nature. Nature is very beneficial to you grounding the energy in your body. It also can be calming. You being out in nature benefits nature as well. Not It's not just for you; it's for nature as well. Um, Try forgiving yourself for negative thoughts. Sometimes it's hard to not have them, but I think that when you forgive yourself for them, it helps you move on to the next space that you need to be in, and it allows positive energy to come in. Be grateful. Say thank you to nature. Say thank you to people. Say thank you to things. You know, for just them being there for you to utilize them. And then go easy on yourself. With time, you'll see your progress. You'll see progress. Hey, how you doing? Um, you'll see progress in just different areas of your life. It may not be something necessarily something that you're working on. But let me tell you, I keep a grateful journal, a gratitude journal. I'm gonna share it with you. Let me find it right quick because I got a few things going on here. Okay, so this is my gratitude journal. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Are you doing anything special today? I don't know who else joined, but thank you for joining. But this is my gratitude journal. I made it. It's a junk journal. If you don't know what a junk journal is, it's just that you make a journal out of things that you have around your house. And so this one, I use some ponytail holders to bind my spine. Yes, you have to. And from a biblical sense, if you're a Christian, you always want to give God reverence when you start your day. Um, just for His grace and mercy, right? And then, but if you're not, I mean, gratitude just gives you a chance to charge that positive energy in your body. So I have a this is my gratitude journal. I use a little bit of everything: old papers, newspaper, books, magazines, envelopes, cards, you name it, it's in here. But every day I try to write down 5 things that I'm grateful for. And then I go back and I take a look at those things that I said I was grateful for, to see where my intent was, if I was being truthful with my gratitude, Um like this one right here says, grateful that the boys traveled to Conroe by themselves safely. So I have 2 sons. I wasn't really prepared for them to be drivers. That's a whole nother stress added to a parent's life. But they were traveling together. One son was not feeling well, so the youngest son drove his car. So of course, I was like, I hope they get there, okay. That was their first long distance travel. But they made it. I'm grateful for that too. So um studying. So you're the second person said they were studying. What are you going to school for? What are you studying? Yes, it is easy to get caught up in negativity. It really is. And negativity causes fear, fear causes stress, it makes cause you to make unwise decisions, and along with a whole bunch of other things. It makes you respond to people in the worst way. interpret what people say in the worst way. So yeah, I agree with you. Social work, okay. I think that's really good too. I think it's especially important because with this pandemic, a lot of people realized a lot of things about themselves that they didn't know, and they just weren't able to process it and um, adapt to it. So, hey, Sheila, happy Sunday. I'm just recording a podcast episode for my podcast. I have one that's due today. So I usually do them. I record on Saturdays and or Sundays. So I had to choose which. I did blog post on Saturday, so I have to do the podcast today. And I'm just talking about mindfulness. Just wanted to say if you were ever interested in doing a podcast, I'm using Anchor, which is owned by Spotify now. It doesn't take much. You could just use your regular phone. Um, or you could use a desktop like I'm doing because I like to use my this piece. But that I think that is a wonderful thing. I don't know how you can. I don't think I could ever be an insurance agent, to be honest. But I'm glad you went back to school. I wanted to go back to school, but the closest thing when I started thinking about what I wanted to do, I ended up becoming a happiness life coach, and then eventually I ended up getting my first certification as a meditation teacher, and I'll be doing the same thing when I get off here. I'll be going to class for my second certification as a meditation teacher. But yeah, so that is going to be the gist of this podcast episode about mindfulness. If you guys, I would love if you follow me in any of my social media platforms. If you can give me feedback on what you heard today, I would love to hear from you. And I think I've kept you long enough. I want to say thank you for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. So I've got that segment done. I already did the first segment was about my fit journey process. I mean progress for this month so far, or this past week. That was what the first segment was, and then this segment I wanted to see you later. Thank you for coming, stopping by, sharing with me. But the second portion was about mindful tips on how to be mindful, and so I'm pretty much done. I'm just gonna add this episode to once it finishes progress processing. I'm gonna make sure it doesn't have it like static or anything. That the quality is good, because that's one thing. Me listening to other podcasts, I can tell when someone is not using a good mic because there's an echo, and it's just really hard to continue to tune in because that is a distraction. Bye. See you later. Thank you for stopping by, Sheila. You too, Ingrid. But I hope everything flows continuously for you, and that you have much success on getting your degree for social work and finding work afterwards. So I do know that a lot of times when we get degrees or what have you, it's not automatically we'll find a job, but um I'm just gonna speak prosperity on it. Regardless, right? We have to speak prosperity on it. Um, but yeah, I just decided to come on quick while I was doing the live for YouTube. I was like, I might as well do the live for Facebook as well. Okay, Hunty, you do that. You do that. I don't ever see you post that on Facebook. I know that, you know, I don't know how you feel about sharing those type of personal things about yourself, but yes, you should definitely post about that because that's something to be proud of, you know. But I'm glad, I'm happy to hear that. To be in honors in college, that's a huge thing. That's something huge. But I'm gonna let me end this live stream for YouTube because I'm done.